Hey Blues fans, glad you made it. Welcome. It's time for another episode of This Week in the Blues. It's our weekly take on blues history. I'm your host, Jimbo Big Train Madsen with the blues band Big Train and the Loco Motives. Their motives are loco, and that's how they got their name. So anyway, let's take a look and see what happened this week in blues history. Texas blues guitar legend Johnny Winter was born February 23rd in 1944. Winter was best known for his high-energy blues rock albums and live performances in the late 1960s and 70s. Winter produced 3 Grammy Award-winning albums for Muddy Waters, and several of Winter's own albums were nominated for Grammy Awards. February 24th, 1950, is the birthday of the Delaware Destroyer, none other than the blues and boogie-woogie guitarist George Thorogood. His high-energy boogie-woogie blues sound became a staple of the 1980s rock radio, with hits like his original songs Bad to the Bone and I Drink Alone. He also helped to popularize older classics like Movin' On Over, Who Do You Love, and One Bourbon, One Scotch, and One Beer. Thorogood and his band continue to tour extensively, and in 2024, the band celebrated their 50th anniversary. February 24th, 1936, marks the birthday of Chicago blues singer, bassist, and songwriter Willie Kent. Kent was born in the heart of the Mississippi Delta, in Inverness, Mississippi. Although he had played bass guitar in Chicago's clubs since the 1950s, Kent also worked full-time in careers other than music until he was over 50 years old. Following heart surgery, he stopped work as a truck driver and formed a band. In 1971, Kent took up residence as a house band at Ma Bee's Lounge in Chicago. Blues and R&B guitarist Freddie Robinson was born February 24th in 1939. He was born in Memphis, but raised in the state of Arkansas, and then moved to Chicago in 1956. Now in 1958, he began touring with Little Walter. After seeing a jazz band perform, was inspired to learn music formally at the Chicago School of Music. He also began working with Howlin' Wolf, recording with him such notable blues classics as Spoonful, Backdoor Man, and Wang Dang Doodle. Clarksdale, Mississippi bass player Heather Cross was born February 25th in 1974. Her band Heavy Sugar and the Sweet Tones has appeared frequently at the world-famous Ground Zero Blues Club and has performed at major festivals, opening for B.B. King, Robert Plant, and many others. Her sound is all blues, with a twist. She says, "I grew up singing Motown, and a couple of my blues mentors did a lot of 70s soul, so that tends to come out in the songs that I'm writing." On February 25th in 1998, Bo Diddley received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Grammys. The Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award is a special Grammy to performers who, during their lifetimes, have made creative contributions of outstanding artistic significance to the field of recording. Other notable blues recipients include B.B. King in 1987, Bessie Smith, 1989, and Muddy Waters in 1992. February 26 marks the birth date of the uncrowned Queen of the Blues. I'm talking about Ida Cox, who was born in either 1888 or 1896. I know it's a stretch, but it's just one of those record-keeping things back then. Anyway, after the success of Mamie Smith's 1920 recording of Crazy Blues, record companies became aware of a demand for recordings, and the classic female blues era had begun. Cox caught the attention of talent scouts and secured a contract. Between September 1923 and October 1929, Ida Cox recorded 78 titles for the Paramount label. Chicago-born boogie-woogie pianist Albert Ammons was born March 1st in 1907. His parents were piano players, and he had learned to play by the age of 10. Ammons has had a wide influence on countless piano players, such as Jerry Lee Lewis and Dr. John, just to name a few. In the mid-1920s, Ammons and boyhood friend Meade Lux Lewis both worked as taxi drivers. Soon, the two players began working as a team, performing at club parties. Ammons' version of Swanee River Boogie sold 1 million copies, and his 1936 recording of Boogie Woogie Stomp has been described as the first 12-bar piano-based boogie woogie. March 1st in 1911 marks the birthday of blues singer and pianist Walter Davis, who recorded from the early 1930s into the early 1950s. Davis was born on a farm in Grenada, Mississippi. He ran away from home when he was about 13 years old, landing in St. Louis. He started singing with piano player Roosevelt Sykes and guitarist Henry Townsend. Davis made his first recordings in 1930. He was a self-taught pianist and increasingly accompanied himself as he became more proficient. Well, blues fans, we just covered some of the highlights here. If you want to know more about these artists or other things that happened this week in the blues, be sure to follow our social media pages, or just go out and visit our website at bigtrainblues.com. Now we'll have a brand new episode next week that'll include a story about country blues maestro Mississippi John Hurt. You won't want to miss it, so we'll see you then.